Welcome back, subscribers, and welcome new viewers to, this is going to be number 20. So the 20th viewer request for today is from my karmic astrology book, and it is North Node in the 12th house, South Node in the 6th house. And I want to thank you, viewer. You know who you are, for this request. Because you're not only helping yourself, you are helping each and every one who has this same house placement, South Node and North Node. Okay, and I want to thank each and every one of you who like, share, and subscribe to my channel, and because that helps all of my videos to circulate to more and more individuals just like you who are needing this information. Okay, and our North and South nodes, actually our South Node, working through our South Node properly is each and every one of our individual personal work that we can do here on this earth right now to assist humanity, to assist the Aquarian age, to assist our ancestry, to assist us personally. So let's see what else. Any questions or comments, or if you would like a written copy, just send me an email. All of my information is down below in the drop-down box. All of my information, my email address, and those of you who are wanting to check out my natal wheel, I always make that available in the drop-down box below. Okay, so 12th house, North Node, 6th house, South Node. Here the individual undergoes a crisis in consciousness. Whether he's actually aware of it or not, much of his life is spent in deep thought. He finds the physical world exhausting. From time to time, he has to deal with illnesses which take him out of the competitive arena, strongly afflicting his abilities to work. I apologize. I don't know if you just heard my puppy that was sent. She just yiped. So apparently my roommate accidentally stepped on her. Didn't mean to. Okay, sorry about that. Let me start that again. He finds the physical world exhausting. From time to time, he has to deal with illnesses which take him out of the competitive arena, strongly affecting his abilities to work. So, again, those of you who are listening to this and have this placement, don't feel bad. You are going to recognize what I'm reading within yourself, and experiences you've had or beliefs you've had or whatever that is, because this is a program that you were given at birth and it was put into your subconscious. That's what our South Nodes are for each and every one of us. It's a program, and it makes us feel like, without us even knowing, we just automatically start living life this way because we just have a knowing, because it's a program. The program is going and it's saying you live life this way and you're going to get your needs met this way. It's not true. It's our South Node. So you work through this South Node, which this is what you're doing. You're bringing this out into your conscious awareness, which is awesome. Awesome. It must be done so that you know you're aware of what you were given, that program that you were given, so that then you can work through that so that you may gain the blessings of your North Node. Okay. And that's for each and every one of us, wherever our house placement and zodiac sign is. Okay. When he's working, he finds conditions intolerable. He feels either underpaid or at the very least unappreciated for all he has to offer. He becomes so wrapped up in the circumstances surrounding whatever he is doing that he allows his attitudes toward his job to permeate all areas of his life. He has much prior life memories of order and organization, Yet everywhere he goes, he sees chaos. In past incarnations, he was a perfectionist, critical of the world around him. That's the Virgo, that's the sixth house. Sixth house, South Node, is the natural house of Virgo. Perfectionistic, organizational, and that's your South Node. Okay. For those of you that aren't aware of that. Now the imperfections he sees weaken him to the point that he feels unable to cope. The world is perceived as not quite giving him all that it could. Some with these nodes tend to dwell in self-pity, while others nourish an embittered resentment. There are feelings of jealousy directed toward other people's well-being, which they perceive as being less earned than their own. Usually there is an inflated sense of ego at the source of the problem. The self, as developed in past incarnations, is now seen as a perfected ideal stationed above the rest of humanity. In his own private thoughts, this individual will rarely admit that he has a tendency to look down upon others. Yet secretly he sees everyone as less perfect than himself. He would sooner go unemployed than work at a job which he feels is beneath him. It is certain, however, that circumstances will force him to do such work, even though it is against his every principle. Having tendencies to internalize his anger at feeling put down, he creates one very real illness after another, until ultimately he reaches the point that he feels justified in blaming his work conditions for his poor state of health. Carrying a past incarnation feeling that society has shut him out, he sees himself as a neglected child, deprived of the central core of richness in life, which is there for others, but somehow not for himself. He spends too much energy trying to impress others and not enough in developing a fullness within himself. More than anything else, he must learn to look inside, where he will find the answers to all of his problems. Many with these nodes watch life pass them by, spending all too much of their time and energy wrapped up in petty thoughts. There is a strong residue of past life nervousness in the sixth house South Node, wherein this individual literally eats away at himself by trying to digest into his system of order every tiny detail that comes to his attention. He must learn how to discriminate between what is important in terms of his life's values and what are just transitory upsets which will pass in due time. Through his constant questioning, he creates for himself a sexual problem, rooting itself deeply in fears of failure. And so unable is he to face his fears that he will compound the problem by developing a pattern of abnormal sexual response designed to mask his feelings of inadequacy. And again, don't feel bad. Please don't feel bad. This is what you were given. This is your program you were given. These were the cards you were specifically dealt. And you can overcome this. You can work through this. Absolutely. We all, each and every one of us can. And you can. Though he tries not to, he keeps seeing himself as a helpless pebble on a beach of thousands. In prior lives, he managed to control his universe. Now, the world seems larger than he would like, and he does all he can to prevent himself from feeling too small by comparison. His growth starts the moment he begins to see himself not only as a part of a greater whole, but containing within himself the essence of the entire universe. Let me read that again. That's a very important sentence. Very cool. Very cool. So, viewer, your growth starts the moment you begin to see yourself not only as a part of a greater whole, but containing within yourself the essence of the entire universe. Wow. He must break his past incarnation tendency to put the world in little boxes and search for the seed of all within himself. Here he will find the abundant richness he has been so desperately seeking. Periods of forced isolation help to bring him to a higher consciousness through which he ultimately learns that things can be different without one necessarily being better or worse than the other. By going deep into himself, he will realize that all of life's conditions depend entirely on how much he can relinquish his hold on trying to overturn the world and rechannel his energies toward overturning himself. He does well by immersing himself in the works of a large institution where he can develop a group consciousness, focusing on the collective good of the whole rather than dwelling in the collected residue of his past life bitterness. He will be tested many times in areas which help him to develop compassion until he ultimately sees that judging others actually prevents his own happiness. His past life karma is erased when he learns how to flow rather than allow his life to keep interrupting itself by petty distractions. He must attune himself to the essence of the universe rather than attempting to sort everything into neat little compartments. The compartments are like a house of cards, and only after they topple does he start to realize that his purpose in life is very far from what he originally thought. He can then learn how to loosen up and bathe in the beauty of all God's creation, rather than seeing only a part of God and calling the part he sees all. As soon as he can greet change willingly, bending while the winds of circumstance flow through his being, he is on the path. Eventually, he will leave the world where people manipulate each other and walk through the doorway to a higher harmony. In preparation, he must transcend the subconscious past life memories of physical problems that still weigh him down and start to climb the cosmic ladder, which leads to the realization of his soul. He must learn how to appreciate the wonder of all he sees without enmeshing himself in the details of why or how. His life will represent the ending of an idea, much as the works of Dante symbolized the end of a period in literature. When he attempts this, his life's work can be a great culmination of all that has come before him. Although his work may bring him behind the scenes, there is a good possibility that it can come to public attention. He must also learn that the physical state of his health is totally dependent upon the purity and stability of his inner mind. Truly, this is the nodal position of mind over matter. And the life will be a karmic transition from the world of matter into the consciousness of infinite spirit. The sign which contains the South Node indicates the ways in which former incarnations brought the individual to preoccupy himself with physical matter. The sign which contains the North Node shows how he can now transform his soul into the pure essence of divine mind. Wow, that's big. Again, those of you who'd like a copy, you will find my email address in the drop-down box below. And if you'd like to write it down now, it's thecreativewoman369@gmail.com. Okay, until next time.